Hey guys, it's Aaron and welcome to Tru Devotions, a series of spiritual nuggets to help you throughout the week. We got another great devotion for you today, and we hope you're continuing to enjoy these. And if you do, like them, share them, let everybody know about what's going on. And without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys. Well, today our devotion is coming from Luke chapter 17, and we're going to start here in verse 11. It's talking about Jesus as he heals the lepers. It says in verse 11, it says, "And it came to pass, as he went to Jerusalem, that he passed through the midst of Samaria and Galilee. And as he entered into a certain village, there met him 10 men that were lepers, which stood afar off. And they lifted up their voices and said, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. And when he saw them, he said unto them, Go show yourselves unto the priests. And it came to pass, as they went, they were cleansed. And one of them, when he saw he was healed, turned back with a loud voice, glorifying God. And he fell down on his face at his feet, giving him thanks, as he was a Samaritan. And Jesus answering said, Were there not 10 cleansed? But where are the 9? They are not found that returned to give glory to God, save this stranger. And he said unto him, Arise, go thy way, thy faith has made thee whole." And as we read this, I'm sure we probably heard it taught and preached before. But it's just an awesome thing to see that, not only did Jesus heal these 10 lepers, he told them to go and show themselves to the priests, and as they went their way, being obedient to what Jesus had asked them to do, they were healed. They were cleansed of their sickness, of the thing that was afflicting them. And that was awesome. And I believe every single one of them were grateful. But at the same time, there was only one that was so grateful that he went back and he thanked Jesus. He thanked him for what he was doing. Now he realized he was healed. He realized that he could go back to his family. He could go back and go about his life that he had before he had leprosy. Because if you know about leprosy in the Bible, as a leper, you were considered unclean, so nobody could touch you. Nobody could get so close to you, and so you had to be outside the gates of the city. You couldn't participate in anything when it pertained to the city and your family and your friends and your life. You had no life. You just went out and you had to beg in the streets. You couldn't have a job. You couldn't do anything, because anything you touched was considered unclean. And looking at this story of the 10 lepers, the 9, they went on their way and were cleansed and were able to go back with their families, and everything was fine with them. And nowhere does it say that they got back sick again, and nowhere does it say that they stayed healed. We really don't know about the other 9. All we know is that they were cleansed and they went their way. But then there was that one that came back, and it says right there, he said he turned back with a loud voice, glorifying God. He fell down on his face at Jesus' feet, giving him thanks. It said he was a Samaritan. That's important because, Samaritans, they weren't supposed to really have very much to do with the Jews. They were a different group of people, and they were, the Jews saw them in a sense as kind of unclean, as kind of a people they didn't associate with. So that the fact that he was a Samaritan was even its own difference there, that Jesus could have even turned him away even for that reason. But this man come back and he glorified him, he thanked him, and he worshipped at Jesus' feet. And Jesus said, because you've done this, go your way. You've been made whole. And not only was he healed, but he also, any fingers or ear or whatever he may have lost while he had leprosy, was restored in his body. And if we worship, the Bible says that God inhabits the praises of his people. And the Bible says that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is liberty. And I believe if we worship God, if we put give our lives to him, if we would just worship, if we would just give him thanks, if we would just be grateful and thankful and show him that we're grateful and thankful daily for the things that he does in our lives, I believe not only can we get the things that we need, but they would be restored to the place that he really wants us to be. I mean, there's one thing to be saved, it's one thing to be a Christian, it's one thing to live that life, but there's a whole other thing for God to be able to restore things in your life that have been taken from you, things that you have lost. I believe He can restore those things today. Whatever the needs may be in your life today, I don't know what they may be, but you know, and God knows. If you put yourself in the same position as this one leper that came back and worshiped God because of what he had done, worshiped Jesus because of the healing that he had received, I believe God can restore some things in your life that you have lost. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that devotion today, and if you did, like it, share it, follow us on YouTube, subscribe, do all those things, and let your friends know about it. And let's get the word out of what God's doing. And other than that, y'all just have a blessed day.